sing out today, dawn now is breaking, and the mountains say it's only light can make the darkness run. Lift up your head, greet the rising sun, greet the rising sun. Some people think to harvest happiness by weeding troubles, easing every stress. The trouble is that troubles never end. Get rid of one and you face its friend, and you face its friend. It's in your heart, the songs of joy resound. You hear but echoes in the world around. Wind on a hill sounds lonely if you're sad, free if you're free, cheerful if you're glad, cheerful if you're glad. Friends, come with me, we'll chant of battles won, shots not of anger, joy will be our gun. Before the light, the veils of sorrow rend, in inner freedom, all delusions end, all delusions end.
So as we explore the light and the darkness today, we'll begin with this chant, "Come out of the darkness, Mother." Maybe Anastra would get a few chant books. That would be awesome. And the chant goes, "Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light."
Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy
and to celebrate the joy that happens when we transform our inner darkness into the divine light. In this beautiful chant, you fill my heart with music. I dance through life with thee. I sing your song, in sorrows gone, in joy I live ever free. Let's meditate together, sitting upright with a nice straight spine. Let's draw the energy into the spine, tightening with an inhale, sniff, sniff, and then exhale, ha, ha. Let's do that together. Inhale, tense the whole body, vibrate, and exhale, ha. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, tense. 1 more time. Hold, and exhale. Sitting upright. We'll begin with measured breathing. Beginning at the base of the spine, we'll inhale for a count of 7, hold at the spiritual eye for the count of 7, and exhale down the spine for 7. You may want to chant silently Om in each one of the chakras, awakening the positive quality of this beautiful magnetic energy center. We'll begin and I'll count for us. Inhaling. Hold. And exhale. Inhale. Hold. And exhale. Inhale. Hold at the spiritual eye, awakening super consciousness. And exhale down the spine. And releasing the pranayama, allowing the breath to return to its natural rhythm, holding your awareness at the spiritual eye. You are the divine witness, watching your natural breath. On the inhale, hung. On the exhale, saw. On the natural inhale, I am, saw, spirit, affirming the truth of who you are. We'll meditate together in silence for 5 minutes.
Remaining in an inward state, listen to this week's affirmation for self-healing: generosity. Most people think of generosity as merely the giving of material benefits to others. More important, however, and much more satisfying is a generous spirit, a willingness to let the other person shine, even if it means being eclipsed oneself. A happiness in his good fortune, even if it means personal loss for oneself. A concern for his safety, even if in an accident one's own property has been destroyed. Generosity means, above all, recognizing that everything we have and are belong to God alone and is his to dispose of where he will. Affirming in a loud voice, commanding the attention of the conscious mind, I am happy in the good fortune of all.
I'm happy in the good fortune of all,
Even more than in my own.
even more than in my own.
For in my happiness for them lies inner freedom.
For in my happiness for them lies inner freedom.
And now in a more conversational tone, I am happy in the good fortune of all. Even more than in my own.
Even more than in my own.
For in my happiness for them lies inner freedom.
In my happiness for them lies inner freedom.
And now taking it inward in a whisper, I am happy in the good fortune of all.
I am
Even more than in my own. For in my happiness for them lies inner freedom. And now in silence, taking it into the subconscious, I am happy in the good fortune of all, even more than in my own. For in my happiness for them lies inner freedom. Now bringing your attention to the point between the eyebrows, taking this affirmation into the superconscious mind in deep silence. I am happy in the good fortune of all, even more than in my own. For in my happiness for them lies inner freedom. Prayer. All that I have and am is thine. Divine Mother, dispose of it as thou wilt.
And now we'll have our reading from Rays of the One Light.
This is a reading from Rays of the One Light, Weekly Commentaries on the Bible and the Bhagavad Gita by Swami Ananda. Week 33, Does Satan Exist? Truth is one and eternal. Realize oneness with it in your deathless self within. The following commentary is based on the teachings of Paramhansa Yogananda. The Bible tells us in chapter 4 of the Gospel of St. Matthew, then after baptism was Jesus led up to the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. To most modern minds, this passage seems quaintly obsolete. Psychologists would say, have said, in fact, that the temptation of Jesus, if it occurred at all, was purely psychological. They call it a projection of desires lurking in his own subconscious mind. The subconscious plays a strong part, certainly, even if not a unique one, in any testing the spiritual seeker must undergo. The Bhagavad Gita, in dealing with this undeniable reality, quotes Arjuna in the 3rd chapter, and then Sri Krishna's reply. Yet tell me, teacher, said Arjuna, by what force doth man go to his ill unwillingly, as if one pushed him in that path? Krishna's replied, desire it is, passion it is, born of the darknesses, which pushes him. Mighty of appetite, sinful and strong is this, man's enemy. Yet even Krishna describes passion as born of the darknesses. The fact is, as Paramhansa Yogananda wrote in Autobiography of a Yogi, all thoughts vibrate eternally in the cosmos. Thoughts are universally and not individually rooted. A truth cannot be created, but only perceived. Psychology, yes, but psychology attuned to currents of consciousness that pervade the entire universe, attracted by each of us according to our own personal inclinations. Yogananda, quoted in The Path, said, "I used to think Satan was only a human invention, but now I know and add my testimony to that of others who lived before me that Satan is a reality. He is universal, a conscious force whose sole aim is to keep all beings bound to the wheel of delusion. We should take pains then to attract uplifting currents of universal consciousness and to avoid attracting the negative, which disease that is, can affect our thoughts, even while it leads us to believe that our thoughts are purely our own. Thus, through Holy Scripture, God has spoken to mankind. Oh, oh.
Thank you. Beautiful, Shan. So we'll begin with a whispered reading. Driving the rebel king, ignorance. Almighty mystic judge of life, I ask thee in my hall of soul stillness, what is sin? The whispers of silence, dim at first, grew into bright articulations of thought. I heard and understood thy meaning. Sin is a rebel king. His name is ignorance. Ignorance is the perpetrator of all evil, the main root of the tree of ill health, the prime cause of all error and soul blindness. King Ignorance and his army of bacteria, physical disease, mental desires, dullness, and false ambitions, spiritual indifference to high truths have been devastating the nourishing harvest fields of spirituality. That harvest of countless fulfillments was ripe for reaping when the harsh tread of error trampled it to the ground. I wanted to weep with despair when I heard thy voice whispering to me in my soul, the sun of my protection shines on these always, equally on thy sunny days and on thy cold black nocturnal hours. Thou shouldest always have faith in me and smile, for the greatest of all sins against me is not to be happy. Let the ripples of unceasing smiles play over your face. Through their transparency, may light will come to thine assistance. By smiling with determined happiness, thou wilt always please me. Does Satan exist? So if I were the devil, I would get all my helpers, all my dark, evil helpers, and I would give them all of your pictures. I would give you your names and your address, and I would tell them, go haunt them with negative thoughts. I would whisper nagging, fearful thoughts to you. Instruct them to remind you of your weakness always. I would divide you if I was Satan. I would split up all your love relationships, isolate you to feel alone and in pain all the time. I would take your joy and I would tell you that the masters are not real. If I was Satan, I would keep you so busy. I would keep you so busy being under Satan's yoke, B-U-S-Y. I would keep you busy all the time, distracted, outwardly, all kinds of things, so you forget your inner life, your inner connection. And I would be so happy if I could convince you to turn away from God. But if I were God, I would remind you, if you worship small things, people and money and ambitions, you will be heartbroken. I would tell you, you can never leave me. I am always your home. Let me live in you and empower you. I want to be with you always. Bring your weakness, bring your despair to me, and I will take it and bring it into the light. I will never leave you. You are my darling. You are my heart. You are my beloved child. I love you unconditionally and always. So what voice do we want to listen to? We can choose to tune into, as Yogananda talks about in the reading, we can tune into the darkness of ego consciousness, or we can tune into the light of God consciousness. Yogananda said, I used to think that Satan was a human invention, but now I add my testimony that to all that have gone before me, that Satan is a reality. And with that, we have to know that we have opportunity, that the darkness truly is a portal, that we can really shine our light and grow our strength through that by overcoming the delusion of this ego consciousness, of this worldly consciousness. And remember, all thoughts he talked about are eternally in the cosmos, right? We don't make up our thoughts. Our thoughts are there. We just tune into them. And sometimes we tune into these beautiful, uplifting thoughts that create heart opening and expansiveness and creativity. And sometimes we tune into the collective ego consciousness, and those negative thoughts can take us down this spiral of negativity and shame and fear and unrest. Yoganandaji is reminding us that there are both positive and negative universal thoughts that vibrate like waves, radio waves in the universe, and it is up to us to choose. Do we follow the negative forces downward into delusion and suffering, or we take the higher road upward towards divine freedom? This is our choice. So yes, Satan exists. He is that unconscious dark force that lives and grows through fear. We have the power within us to transmute that fear through our amazing practices, through deep, diving deep into our own heart and soul, through developing the power of intuition, and through the powerful readings and teachings of the Bible, the Bhagavad Gita, Yoganandaji's works, Swami Kriyananda's incredible uplifting, replacing the negative beliefs within us with these powerful, strong truths. So Satan means the adversary. His job is to separate us from God, and he uses the weapon of Maya, cosmic delusion. He can be so tricky. You know, I realized before I went to the village that I had decided, see, I have this beautiful meditation closet, and it's like, it has some stars in it. And it's like, really like my inner child loves it because I get to really go inside and feel and just be there. And because I've done it for so many years, that meditation space is magnetized. So I sit down and I just automatically go in. But I had this thought, it's so beautiful out in the gardens. I think I'll get a coffee and I'll sit in the living room and open the doors and windows, and my puppies will be there, and I'll meditate there in the mornings instead. And I noticed, in retrospect, you know, I noticed that my meditations were lessening and deepening, that they were more outward, that my thoughts were coming more and more, and that I didn't have the staying power and my heart wasn't as opened. That's how tricky it is. I was still meditating, but I needed to be in a space that I really felt that had been magnetized with and more inward than outward. And so it's so simple. I was still meditating, but that tiny little thought of, well, let's go do this. This will be more fun, right? But really, our practices are so sacred. They're so essential for our own sense of purpose and well-being and presence that we have to be able to transcend those ego's little thoughts like, oh, I can meditate later, or, oh, you know, I'll just 5 minutes is good enough. All these little thoughts are ways that the darkness tries to disturb the light that's trying to grow within us and trying to magnify. So how do we choose the light of God? We must turn it around. We must turn our perception around from outward to inward and bring the darkness into light of our awareness. So the word Satan, if you spell it backwards, it's natas, and that means birth of God. If you take the devil and turn it backwards, it spells lived. So that's what we need to do. We need to turn our darkness, turn it around, reverse it, and allow it to move into the light through lovingly perspective, through integration. And we must turn those negative thoughts and behaviors around through understanding, Three things. Darkness is a portal to light. It is opportunity. It is not to be afraid of. It is a way that we grow and deepen our spiritual practices. The tools we have of meditation and prayer are tools that turn it around, that give us the capacity to transform and to live deeper and deeper into the teachings and the light. And we must anchor in the divine each day. So we went to Ananda village. Nostra came with Kyle and Ines, and we had this amazing trip. And it is such a beautiful place of light, Ananda village. And to see all our old friends, to meet new friends. Everyone wanted to spend time with us. We had dinners and lunches. We were booked the whole time. And we had these great, great talks. And one night we were talking and, with our spiritual family, we had some, you guys remember Johnny and Atul who came with Jitendra, he was there, and Kyle and myself and Anastra and Nayaswami, Dharmadas and Nirmala were there. And we're all telling stories and stuff. And I told the story of 2 years ago, Guru Purnima. And so I had sent out an email, hey, everybody, come on, let's make some altars. Which ones do you want? And I got no response. And then a few people text me like, oh, sorry, I can get there for Kirtan, but I can't help with that. I'm so busy. Da, 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 da. And I was like, oh, I have no magnetism. I'm all alone in this. I'm not going to do this. Oh, this is frustrating. I can't do this by myself. All these dark thoughts came into my mind. And then I was like, well, no one wants to help me and they're all lazy, and I went into some thought processes, right? And then it came to me that it was just me sharing my love with the masters. And in that moment, I became so free and understood that everybody was in this divine conspiracy to help me to really find that inner desire. Do I want to serve God? Do I want to create these altars? And I had all these great ideas. I filled up my Jeep with furniture and pictures and flowers. And there were 5 different altars for each one of our beautiful masters of self-realization in honor of and gratitude of all the energy, all the time, all the self-effort that they gave to awakening and to guiding us into awakening. And I thought, well, then I can put that kind of self-effort and energy. And what happened is my heart opened in a beautiful, creative flow of grace. And what a blessing that was. What a blessing. So when we are able to see the darkness as a portal to light, to turn it around, to say a prayer, to meditate, to tune into the gurus, and anchor into the divine, what happens is that beautiful flow of creativity and grace begins to inspire us. Inspiration we live from, a deeper, deeper way of being. And that creative process helped it. Everyone came in and we had a kirtan, Ram came, and we had a beautiful night. Everybody came and loved the altars, and we kept them up for a week. And it was such a beautiful experience. And I felt so blessed to have that privacy, that intimacy, as I lovingly, honored my gurus, my spiritual teachers that have put so much love and effort into me. And I felt so blessed to have had that experiment and experience. And so when I told that story, Nirmala said, can I share that next Sunday service? I said, you can, and I think I'll talk about it too. So we must turn away from the downward pull and bring things into the light. And when we do, things happen, miracles, consciousness happens, amazing things happen, love happens. And I was reminded when I was at the village of another story. I don't think anyone here knows Wyatt. Did you remember Wyatt? He was here in the beginning days, and he lived in Jaya and Sadhana Devi's house in the downstairs. And he was a beautiful soul. He spent a lot of time in Italy, and he would do odd jobs and painting and stuff. And before I was in my house, Shanti house, I had bought a house in Narragansett. And at the closing, we went in through the house, and I looked, and they had left a big washing machine. They had left all kinds of things in the house, and The carpet was all stained and it smelled of cat pee. It was just really not good. And I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So I went to the closing and I said, listen, you have to get this stuff out of here. You left so much trash all over the house. You're supposed to leave it in pristine. And he said, well, yeah, I'll come get some of that stuff. And so I did the closing. And yeah, I went back to the house and I was like in despair. What am I going to do here? I have no idea. And 2 or 3 friends came over and said, you got to back out of this. You have like 48 hours. You got to leave. And I was like, just tuned in. I just tuned in. And Wyatt was one of the people that said, oh, we can't do this. I said, yes, we can, Wyatt. And so we started. First of all, I brought my CD player over and I had 3 CDs playing for the 3 days constantly. One was an evening in Italy, and Wyatt loved Italy, and all Swami sing those beautiful heart opening songs. And we just played that music and we ripped up carpet. We got a dumpster. We were throwing everything in. Then we started scrubbing it. Then we painted every single wall in this 3-bedroom house, the deck, everything. And we totally transformed this beautiful place into a little heaven. We had the next day we had the floors done, and it was the most amazing transformation I had ever been part of. But I felt like I wasn't doing it. I felt like I was a channel for beauty, a channel for love and creativity. And that house, like almost I don't know, like I was caring for this house and bringing it back to life and to love. And everyone who came to that house loved it, loved it, loved it. And I just became at home in that place and was so grateful for Wyatt and that beautiful transformation, that 3 days of ripping and painting and singing, that spiritual effort that we need to put in. It's how we turn things around. We turn a difficult situation into a spiritual creative transformation every chance we get, more and more and more as devotees of the divine. This is our job. Otherwise, we have to stay vigilant, because that tricky ego, that tricky Satan will try to come into our thoughts and our mind and disconnect us. Sri Yukteswar, my favorite thing he said is, forget the past. The vanished life of all men are dark with many shames. Human conduct is unreliable until man is anchored in the divine. Everything in the future will improve if you are making a spiritual effort now. That's it. You might think like clearing a house, you're not going to be making a spiritual effort, but everything we do, we can bring our spiritual heart, our spiritual effort into it. Remember that finding God means the funeral of all sorrows. Imagine that's how we live heaven on earth. No more sorrows. Those desires that used to take us over and take us into ways of disconnecting from God and feeling ashamed and all that, they're done. No more. And each morning in meditation, we turn on the light. We vow to choose to live in super consciousness each morning. And if we are feeling any discord or resentment with others, instead of separation like the ego wants and ego beliefs, we can choose peace. A beautiful, beautiful prayer, the peace and harmony prayer. So maybe just even take a moment right now to just tune in. Is there any discord, any resentment, any hurt between you and anyone else, your neighbor, your friend, your sister, your parent, anybody? And just silently say with me, Lord, fill this person with peace and harmony. Lord, fill this person with peace and harmony. Lord, fill this person. Feel them being filled with peace and harmony. Lord, fill this person with peace and harmony, peace and harmony. Lord, fill this person with peace and harmony, peace and harmony. Beloved Lord, fill this person with peace and harmony, peace and harmony. Lord, fill this person with peace and harmony, peace and harmony. Lord, fill this person with peace and harmony, peace and harmony. Lord, fill this person with peace and harmony, peace and harmony. And Lord, fill this person with peace and harmony, peace and harmony. And 3 times, Lord, fill me with peace and harmony, peace and harmony. Beloved Lord, fill me with peace and harmony, peace and harmony. Lord, fill me with peace and harmony, peace and harmony. This is a guaranteed 100 billion% prayer. If you sincerely want peace and harmony for everybody on this planet, you can create it. We are called to self-honesty today, to look inward and find anywhere there is darkness, unlove, resentment, competition, negativity, and turn it around. Raise the bar. Use your superpowers. Ask the question, what aspect of God can I practice today to stay in the light? Yogananda's great contribution was to remind us of that God isn't some white-bearded person. God is an essence of love, an essence of joy, an essence of light, an essence of power, of wisdom, of calmness, of peace, and of the cosmic sound of Om. So what aspect of God would you like to tune into today and hold in your heart today in every encounter? What a beautiful question to ask ourselves in our morning meditation. And add to it, how can I be a better version of myself, right? How can I transform any unlove in my heart to love? Let's show Satan our true power. Let's strengthen our daily practices. Go deeper, more deeper each time. Make the time, make the correction when we have the negative thoughts, to have enough present moment awareness and open-hearted to awareness to feel when that thought happens, it's a negative vibration. It doesn't feel good. Tune into the feeling of some of our negative thoughts. Then we can make the correction. I'm not good enough. I am a beautiful child of the divine. Replace these negative thoughts. Be so awake and so aware, so vigilant. That's what we're called to do this week. We'll laugh at the devil and be a channel of positive energy through serving, through kindness. We can accept the truth that everything that happens is an expression of God's love sent to us for our own highest good. And we can be prepared for life's storms when presented with difficulty. We choose grace and strength, not hurt and bitterness. We hold tight to self-realized masters of this beautiful path. We have been so blessed. One thing I really saw at Ananda village is the blessings and the joy and the love and the connection that people can live in. Such a beautiful reminder of how we can all come together. And remember, Master, to those who think me near, I will be near. Om, peace. Amen.
So now we'll have our offertory. Please take what you would like to give. Place it in your right hand and repeat after me. Divine Mother,
Divine Mother,
we offer to thee the fruit of our labors.
we offer to thee the fruit of our labors.
Bless this offering,
Bless this offering,
that it serve as a channel of thy light to truth-seeking souls everywhere.
to truth-seeking souls everywhere.
Om,
Om,
peace.
peace.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Kelly. That was such an inspiring talk. Thank you. So, Kelly, do you have a choice? You suggested 2 things: free at last, or the other one. Which one do you want? I can't hear you. So I guess I'll just do free at last. This is a song that Swami wrote for his peace treaty play. Free at last from poor oppression, free from the shocking hate, free at last from brutal spirit.